publishing news that does not involve us.
Oh, yes.
Haruki Murakami has a new book coming out.
Yeah, you sent me that last night. That
Let me look it up more detailed.
Right.
This is from our friends at the AP News. Not our friends.
No.
Not our enemies.
No.
Just a news source.
Yeah.
A new book by Haruki Murakami will mark the first time a full-length novel by the Japanese author features a female main character in her pursuit of finding a way out of a bizarre world. Now, that's an interesting thing because 1Q84 stars a female character who is in some kind of pursuit and is finding her way out of a bizarre world.
Yeah.
So, but she's one of two protagonists, I believe.
Okay.
She's like an assassin lady.
Mm-hmm.
But I would count that as maybe like a female protagonist, you know?
But maybe not like, would you consider her the lead, though?
Yeah, the story is like...
Revolves around?
Yeah, it's like her story and a guy's story.
Okay.
From what I remember. I could be slightly incorrect. I don't know. It's been years since I read that. The book, The Tale of Kaho, K-A-H-O, which is scheduled to be released July 3rd in print and digital format, centers on a 26-year-old picture book author named Kaho. That's a name I don't like. The new novel is Murakami's first in 3 years. His previous novel, The City and Its Uncertain Walls, is a story of a male protagonist searching for love, loss, and boundaries between basically every...
normal Murakami story.
Yeah. And that's the one I remember we talked about that was apparently terrible.
Yeah.
I thought that one came out more recent, but then again, because you asked me about this, is this coming out? This is just the English one coming out?
Right.
Or is this book already out in Japan and now they're just I'm thinking the same thing happened with That City and Its Uncertain Walls, is when we saw it, that was the English version, but it was probably already out in Japan for 3 years or something.
Well, that's like, I can't remember the author's name, but that the man who died 5 times, that Japanese book.
Yeah.
I was looking that guy up to see if he had any other books, just in case of whenever I got around to that, if I liked it, you know.
Yeah.
And apparently that book actually came out a good chunk of years ago, and he's dead now. So like that
no
book,
new books.
Yeah, so that book came out in English after he died.
That's weird, but there's a lot of that in like Japanese. Like I find that all
makes a certain amount of sense. I mean,
yeah, but I find that all the time where it's like, oh, this is a cool Japanese author, and I'm reading the book, and I'm like, this seems a little dated. And then I look and say, oh, this came out in 2008.
Yeah,
It's 2018.
Yeah.
Kaho is the first lone woman protagonist featured in a full-length novel by Murakami, Shinchoza Publishing Company, and said Thursday in a statement. Initially, the novel started as a short story titled Kaho, which Murakami rehearsed at a book reading event 2 years ago at Waseda University. So if he did that 2 years ago, then this must be a pretty fresh writing. So maybe, is this the Japanese?
It doesn't say.
Renowned female author, some stuff. The character Kaho, who has average looks and intelligence, is a curious person, so just the male version or female version of his male characters. One day, she dines with a man who... I wonder if she makes spaghetti.
I was just going to say, do you think she makes spaghetti, and how many cats do you think she has?
You think she's listening to jazz or classic music?
Both.
In her car that she shifts a lot in detail. I've never seen one as ugly as you. Okay, we don't need all that. As long as he... Oh, this is a comment. As long as he skips the child essay a la 1Q84, his books are euthanasia-inducing enough without... Ooh, that's a harsh comment.
Yeah.
This isn't Murakami's first novel to feature a female main character. 1Q84 features Amame, a main character. Like I said, I hate when they put articles together, but they never know whoever put it together didn't read anything. Like you don't even have to read the books; just read the synopsis of some books. But yeah, put it this way: he doesn't write a lot of main female characters.
Yeah,
so that's slightly different. Of course, I think in the short stories there was quite a few, weren't there?
I think so. Yeah,
from what I remember. Other news: Spencer, Starlight Pulp as the what's today's date? Today is April 25th as the recording of this. So Starlight Pulp announced earlier this week, which they tagged me in the post, that they were going to tell all the authors who got in or who got rejected by the end of the week. If, they accepted or rejected. I still have not heard anything.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on over there, wacky fellas. I hope they reject me so hard that I could cry for the next year, because that's the only thing that's going to seem fitting for me at this time. What else do I got, Spencer? I got a PA Bards book coming out in a couple weeks. Probably be out by the time this episode drops, because we are many episodes ahead now.
We're like one episode ahead.
Yeah, they raised the prices on those fucking books too. So this is the last time I'm smitten to them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Because the reading, they raised the price on the reading too. It's like $10 to get in to read your poem from the book you have to buy. Yeah. It's like, I'm thinking this is a scam, fellas.
In front of other people who have poems in that book.
Yeah, that's not. I did it a couple times, and that's enough for me. What else did I want to tell you, Spencer? Oh, this will be interesting. I was maybe going to do it for the main episode, but I don't have a topic. But this will be good cold open material. I succumb and use ChatGPT.
Oh, you dirty bastard.
You know what I used it for?
What?
Spank material. No.
Well, that's fine.
I, as you know, have been hitting a writing rut where I just haven't felt like writing.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been managing like the past couple of weeks on like Mondays and Tuesdays
Some words
to eke out like 100, maybe 200 words at the end of the night, but nothing like great.
Well, I think one of my problems was I haven't finished some of the stories that I was working on last year that I was really enthusiastic about because other projects came in. Like the one I kind of stopped because I had to finish the one for that Friends in Hell. That's also probably out.
That
should be out
soon.
Yeah, May 1st. So if this episode airs after May 1st, it will. So that book's out. Buy it.
Yes.
We both got stories in it. Mine, For the Views, Spencer's, Dearly Disregarded.
Yes.
Okay, cool. But anyway, so I think the problem was like in the back of my head subconsciously, I have like this story, the main one that kind of like jazz story I was writing.
Yeah.
That one I was really...
You got real close to ending it, wasn't you?
No, I only had like 2,000 words into it, but I was only in the first scene.
Oh.
It's going to be a long boy. But I really was liking that story. I put it on the back burner for other projects and then never got back to it. So I was like, you know what? Maybe that's what I need to do is go back and do that, and that'll get me enthusiastic about other stuff. So I started doing that, but as if you remember me telling you some time ago, it is a like 1930s jazz retelling of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Right, yeah.
Well, I used ChatGPT because another part I was having a problem is I read that story, but it's been a while, and it's like it's like an Arthurian story, so it's a little difficult to read and reread and find parts of it. So I'm just like, because I'm not like just straight retelling the story, I'm just like taking the beats and some of the scenes. And
like having stand-ins and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm like, I need an easier way to just be able to look at what scene I'm in and just be able to have bullet points. So I used ChatGPT. I said, take the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, break it into each scene and give bullet points of what happens in the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And it did that. And it was very helpful because now it's just like, scene 1, the Green Knight enters, issues a challenge. Scene 2, gets his head cut off, whatever. So now I can just like look at that because that's all I need.
Yeah,
I don't need all the details because I'm not using the details.
You should probably do that when you get around to reading not Odysseus, but
Ulysses.
Is that the super hard one?
Finnegan's Wake.
I
don't know because I did that with Gravity's Rainbow. I did the exact same thing.
Yeah?
It was like break it scene by scene. It was like, we can't do that because it's non-linear. And but it gave me what the scenes might be about in the bullet points. It was like, these are what the scenes might be about and what they're trying to say. And I'm like, and I read all of it and I was like, I don't understand. Right. Where does the second poop from a butt come into play? I don't get it. Now, the fans don't know about this, and since most of them probably haven't read Gravity's Rainbow, there's a scene in there where, without getting too explicit, some old, maybe he's German or I don't know, some guy has like a madam, like a ball whipping kind of madam, and long story short, he ends up sucking turds out of her butt and eating them. It's very gross, and it's very graphic. It's 2 pages. Because I sent that to Bryce, and one of the things he asked me was like, well, what context does that have the rest of the story? None. Leading up to that, had not like these people don't know who these characters are. They just got thrown in with this weird scene.
And do they even have names?
They might have had names. I don't even know if it's important. I'm pretty sure they had names. They tell you because a couple pages before you get into the scene before the sex stuff, it's just like talking about rockets and shit. I don't know. And then after that, the next scene, it just goes into like something completely different, German propulsion physics, and I'm just like, what? Why is there equations? What happened to the poop stuff? But here's the problem. So I've been struggling thinking about, like, at times, I'm like 250 pages in or something. Like, I'll just fucking quit this book. Yeah. What's the point of reading this? But then I keep coming across shit like that. And I'm like, I'm back in. I'm back in. Like the part where the guy's fucking climbing down the toilet for some reason and it's all gross. I was like, that's the language I need. And I get sucked in. And then the next one is about propulsion. I'm like, why did I do this to myself?
So your issue, like, because you sent me that too. Yeah, it's written well, but I still just think, like, especially at the time, it's just like people liked this.
I don't think anybody read it,
but like, like people champion like this book, like as like
this is on the list. This is on multiple lists. One of the hardest books, one of the must-read books, and one of those books that every man should read. Like I've seen it on all those lists, like near the top, and I was like, there must be something to it. Rockets and boners.
So like that just like surprises me of just like Because like when you read when you sent me that, I'm just like just reading those 2 pages. I'm just like, why the fuck am I reading this?
Yeah. Well, see, like I read Ulysses, and I end up really liking it, and that's a very hard book to read, and it's very weird, but there's so much done with language and so many different things where I'm just like, yes, I understand why people, you could say somebody should read this, especially if you're a writer. This book, though, it's not the language. It's just like if he had this, it would be a very well written book if it had a linear, just normal story. Like you can understand what was happening. Okay, that'd be fine, but it wouldn't stand out. But just because it's broken up into just random shit that happens, it's like, oh, that makes it experimental and postmodern and unique. And I'm just like, it makes it fucking pointless.
But does it need it?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, now I'm reading about so this is about paranoia and war. Like, what is the symbology here? What is the real point of this? I've looked up plenty of things now that's supposed to explain. Like, I'm not seeing it. Put it this way. Everything I've seen on Reddit, because people, again, champion this book, I'm like, I'm not seeing what you're seeing. Like, I'm reading it. I'm understanding what's I understand scene by scene basis of what's happening, but I don't see in the greater context. Yeah. Like I can't see what the point of it is.
No, it's hard. It's kind of unfair to try to rate things before they're finished. But like so far, like what would you rate? Because you're what you said you're 250.
Yeah, 260, something like that.
And it's like 600?
Almost 800 pages.
Oh, almost 800. So you're about like a quarter over like
near
a quarter
halfway point.
So like what would like if you had to grade what you've read so far, what would you grade it?
A 3? It's tough because like
and is that only just because like it has Germans eating poops out of mistresses' buttholes? Like
a 4 then.
Well, no, I'm saying that's the only reason you're giving it 3. He's giving it a 3 is because of that stuff.
I do like some of the raunchy sex stuff. It's gross. Put it this way. My wife, who's not a reader, I made her read that.
Yeah.
And she was thoroughly enthralled for those 2 pages. She's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? She's like, she was still talking about it. She was talking about it at dinner when we went out. Like, she kept bringing it up. And I'm like, okay, see, that has some merit. I can almost understand why he included that because that gets people talking about the otherwise boring book about rockets.
Right.
So far, I would just give it a 3 for the fact that, like I said, I really do like the writing. It's tough because I grade things differently than you. Like, you were mainly like, oh, is the story good and can I understand it?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to understand a story to like a book. As long as the language is well done, the writing's really good, and I feel something. Like that's the main thing for me is like I need to feel, because there's plenty of like those. I think it was Kokoro, that Natsume Soseki book, where it's kind of just a book about feeling.
Yeah.
So it's like a guy in nature and stuff. If that's the one I'm thinking, it could be Shanshu. I don't think it is Kokoro. I think even maybe that translates roughly to like feeling or something like that. But that's one of those ones, like I've read a lot of like Buddhist type books where it's just like, oh, it's kind of about feeling or nature or just like, things that are beyond plot. So I'm fine with that. But the problem is this one, it keeps like edging towards a plot, and you can tell there's a greater plot, but you can't understand it.
It's plot teasing you.
Yeah, it's plot teasing me. So it's like, what is the fucking point of this book?
Now, would you read? I don't know. I'm sure I probably asked you this before. Like, does he have any other work? And if so, would you?
Yes.
Would you read it?
Yes.
Would you check? Just because of the writing. Like, I would hopefully like maybe he wrote something else that maybe has a more linear, classical kind of writing to it.
Thomas Pynchon, who is 88 years old, his newest novel, which
he's still around. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought he was dead.
No, he just had a book come out 2025 called Shadow Ticket.
Okay.
So I'm gonna read this to you, and not knowing that the fucking just take Gravity's Rainbow out of the situation here. Shadow Ticket 2025 is the 9th novel by Thomas Pynchon, a 1930s set detective story following Hicks McTaggart, a private investigator in Milwaukee hired to find a missing heiress. The narrative shifts from a hard-boiled mystery to a surreal international conspiracy, blending themes of rising fascism, 1930s jazz culture, and high-stakes espionage. Now here's the plot. Set in 1932, Hicks McTaggart works for the agency Unamalgamated Ops, trying to locate Daphne Airmont. I love the word unamalgamated.
Yeah.
That's a good word to say.
I'm not even sure what that means, but it sounds nice.
It's like amalgamated, but unamalgamated.
Okay, so then
amalgamated, unamalgamated. It's non-amalgamated.
So it's like mixed, but so it's non-mixed?
I don't know. Daughter of a powerful Al Capone of cheese in Milwaukee, the investigation mixed with his own life as a private eye, takes him from the Midwest to Europe. This is annoying me because when I looked this up before, it just had like a Wikipedia synopsis, which was way better than this fucking AI. Google always switches like random AI synopsis to, but basically it's
it seemed interesting.
This guy gets involved in the fucking Milwaukee cheese syndicate.
Yeah.
And the cheese mob is after him.
So that's the kind of stuff that I like.
Saying.
When it's like you're taking like the crime element, but you're putting it like in a weird, like there was
a ridiculous situation.
Like whenever that I think it was Aftershock, the comic publisher, they were good for doing things like that. It was a crime thing, but it dealt with the crime families that deal with like the vending machines that fill up at all the different like gas stations and stuff like that. Like the mob behind that.
Be interesting. So if that's written like Gravity's Rainbow, just like language, because I would imagine Thomas Pynchon isn't writing too many different, like his writing's probably going to be good regardless. So if there's just a understandable plot, I might like that.
Yeah.
Which would be weird to like go from his most famous work to just like 88-year-old Thomas Pynchon's work. But like I said, Vineland and Crying of Lot 40. I heard Crying of Lot 49, I think, is really hard too. Probably won't read that. Vineland, maybe. I think that's a little more understandable, but like that one sounded interesting to me. Is like just like if you could just write like the way he does, but just a coherent plot.
Is that kind of like his thing? Is like doing weird?
I don't know. I don't know really much about Thomas Pynchon other than he's weird looking and he wrote Gravity's Rainbow.
Well, he sure didn't pitching off of that loaf in that guy's mouth.
That was very detailed. I mean, it was well written.
Yeah,
and I love how though it's like so well written, but then he just keeps using the word turd. I should have brought that. Well, I have it on my phone. I'm not reading it. I thought about reading that on there, but that might be too much.
Might get some on since they like to do funny shit on like Spotify and stuff. We'd get like a mature rating or something for that.
Yeah, I mean we read fart fiction or fart letters from James Joyce.
Those are fancy though.
I was reading the Sodom 120 Days of Sodom, but that was written in such an eloquent way that it's not as gross as this.
Right.
This is pretty blatantly gross. Anyway, we have an episode. We'll talk about something for maybe another 20 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe the cold open will be longer than the regular episode for once.
It might be.
It could be. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Pod motherfucking cast, brah. You like that, cuh?
Bruh.
I'm gonna be a West Coast Crip, cuh.
Oh, whoa.
You could be a blood, cuh. We could fight. But then if you're a blood, you can't say C's, right?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so you like chocolate chip cookies. It's block it, blip, bloopies, whatever.
That's dumb.
It is dumb. Shut up. Anyway, I'm your host, Caleb James. K.
Okay, you gotta throw that K.
Because I got books coming out, so I gotta have the K, and so people look me up proper. With me as always, Spencer of the Milwaukee Meat Merchant Church.
Yes.
It's different. Meat merchant.
Yeah.
That's a career, like a butcher, or just
I'm just selling. Well,
you work at a deli.
I have meats on me.
You have meat experience. You do have deli experience.
And I'm more of a mobile. Like I don't have a location. I'm just
mobile
out.
Meat cart.
Yeah, I'm just out in. Well, it's mostly in a jacket,
trench coat.
Yeah,
and I got your ham hocks.
Yeah,
I got your ribeye.
Yeah,
I got your man meat.
Some sausage.
Sir, all you got is one sausage dangling there, and it doesn't look too impressive.
It's like one of those little wiener schnitzels.
Today I decided we're talking about the most challenging books you'll ever read.
Again.
We've done this many times, but this is from Pat McMillan, which we might have even done this one. I don't know. This came out 2024.
Okay.
But since we're talking about Thomas Pynchon, I might as well just reiterate a list of hard books. And since I've read a bunch of these now, maybe I could say why you should read it or not. Think that's fun? Sure. I don't know. We got 10 minutes to kill. Not numbered.
Do we know if they're going from like best to... Well, I guess if it's not numbered, it's not.
Not numbered. Not best to worst, not worst to best, not best to best, not worst to worser. Nothing like that. Just a list that isn't a list. Just things in no order.
Don't like it.
Well, for this kind of thing, he's not judging the books. He's just picking the most challenging. You're going to say the most challenging. I would imagine number 1 should be most challenging, or number 10.
Yeah.
Go in some kind of descending or ascending order. Anyway, classic challenging read, Spencer.
Descending. It's always descending.
Yeah, in your head. Okay, before we start...
Should I try to pick some?
Just pick, let's say 5 or something. Just see if you could pick what you think would be on this list.
Well...
I'd imagine most of these are more classic, but there could be newer ones. I don't know. Like maybe a Jerusalem, but I haven't looked at the list.
I was thinking like House of Leaves is always like, for a more modern one
Solid pick. Yeah.
is on there. I would think something like Odysseus or like, the Odyssey or something. With those,
So Ulysses and the Odyssey.
yeah, well, those, I don't know. Maybe those are just long, or maybe they're considered difficult because they're old. I can't remember.
The Odyssey, yes. Or you are you conflating?
Yeah, I am.
Ulysses, which is in the Odyssey,
Yeah.
as Odysseus.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the Roman version,
Right.
Or you're talking about the James Joyce novel Ulysses, which is most likely on this list for sure.
We'll just say both.
Okay, so Odyssey and the
Yeah.
James Joyce 20th century book Ulysses,
Well, yeah.
which is thousands of years later.
You know what I never fucking see put on one of those, but especially after I've read it myself, is the fucking Divine Comedy.
The Divine Comedy
Should be put on some hard books to read list.
I feel like some of those books, like the Divine Comedy, Odyssey, Iliad, Aeneid, I think what it comes down to is translation.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of those do not get put on the list just because there's so many translations and because they weren't actually. Well, the Divine Comedy was written down in just, I think, Italian or Latin. Because that came out around Shakespeare time. I can't remember. We talked about it in the episode. We didn't do the episode. We never did the episode on it. Dante Alighieri, I think from what I remember us reading, he actually wrote that in like Latin instead of Italian.
I think so, yeah.
Even though everyone spoke Italian then or something. So anyway, I would say you could put that in there. Any other quick picks? Are you done? You done?
Well, we'll be done.
All right. You see me read some of these books.
Yeah.
So you should know, Spencer.
Yeah.
No more no big fish. You want to guess maybe?
Oh, like Moby Dick.
No more fucking windmill tilting guys or nothing. Questing.
Well, is Don Quixote considered like hard to read?
Let's
like,
find
difficult?
out.
No, but I mean, like, had it had that distinguished before?
Nah.
It's just big, right? It's just long.
Well, let's find out because number one on this not numbered list. The first one to pop up on this list is Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes.
But even when you because we've talked about that as you were reading it like a couple of times.
It's not difficult.
And yeah, like
It's just translation I read.
It just it's just long. It's just a big book.
If you read the original Spanish version that had some more archaic language, I would think maybe that would be challenging, unless you're a Spanish speaker.
Yeah.
But yeah, just language-wise, it wasn't.
Because I remember you talking about that, and me going like, I want to eventually read that.
You would really like it, I think. You love questing, don't you? Well,
questing with purpose.
Or questing with purpose that just goes awry every time.
Right, yeah, that's fine.
And poop jokes.
I just don't like you just randomly wandering around.
Let me ask you this, Spencer. Have you tackled Europe's first modern novel? No, you have not, but you were talking about doing so. Don Quixote, a profound yet hilariously tragic tale, charts the quixotic quest of an eccentric knight and his faithful squire in 16th century Spain. With its intricate narrative over 1,000 pages long and satirical take on romantic tropes, Miguel de Cervantes' seminal work may be a demanding one. However, its timeless humor, inventive storytelling, and incisive social commentary ensure that the endeavor is highly rewarding, affirming Don Quixote as an enduring master of literature. What a great paragraph that does not explain why it's challenging.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
The big thing, it just said it was long.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say he's going to include a lot of books that are long, because this next one, the only thing I know about it is that it's long. Next up, Bleak House by Charles Dickens.
I don't know if I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's bleak and it's a house and it's long.
I didn't think he wrote long stuff. I always just thought because like the Christmas Carol is not that, or Christmas Story is not that long, right?
You seen that collection sitting right there?
Yeah, but that's a collection of multiple things.
How big is that, Spencer? Describe it for the audience on my bookshelf.
Which one am I looking at?
See the bottom shelf?
Yeah. It's like one of those old Bibles.
Also the text is the tiny Bible text that is unreadable. I bought it just because it's so hilariously big. It's like half the size of that bookshelf. It is ridiculous. I think it contains all his novels. Anyway, part tightly plotted murder mystery, part biting condemnation of the corruption of the heart of English society, Bleak House follows the inheritance case of Jarndyce and Jarndyce.
A law firm.
Okay. I almost read it as Jaundice and Jaundice. I just pictured two Homer Simpsons all yellow. The case has been drawn out for generations, and we're introduced to a myriad characters from all walks of life. There's Esther Summerson, Dickens' feisty heroine, Sir Leicester, and Lady Dedlock. I like the name Lady Dedlock.
Yeah.
That's a cool name. Cocooned in their stately home in Lincolnshire. It sounds very British. And Joe, the penniless crossing sweeper, with some of its 1,296 pages narrated in the third person, and other parts by the main character, and the entire first chapter essentially being a description of London's fog. Bleak House is not short of challenging literary details. I've read Christmas Carol and I've read Great Expectations. The language is very Victorian. So that would be the challenge for a lot of people, is just the language itself. Beautiful, but way too many details. You know, we joked before, paid by the word,
Yeah.
which I think he was. Combine that with one whole chapter about just describing fog. I could understand, especially the opening chapter. You couldn't get away with that now. Like, a publisher would never publish that. Just open, unless you're famous already. One thing I think could be said for challenging works is the introduction of many, many, many characters. Like, that's one of the big things with Gravity's Rainbow is nobody fucking knows. There's 400 characters that come in and out, and you just don't know. You know, it's hard to keep track. But those are very unique names, though. Be harder if you just have like a lot of Joe Anderson and you know Joe Saunderson, and like that gets tricky. But when you got Lady Deadlock and Lincolnshire, like those names you can put together. Next up. You know this one. Okay. I believe you said it was your favorite novel of all time, even though you haven't read it, which I thought was a pretty big take to have.
Sounds like me.
Moby Dick by Herman Melville.
I did read it. You read that second time you read it. You were reading it for me.
That's fair. With its extraordinary intensity sustained by mischievous... This fucking whale definition. A whole chapter of whale definitions. Endless descriptions of harpoons and fucking...
Playing with semen.
Sails and tarps and... As I always say, to quote SpongeBob, nautical nonsense. That's what it is. I'm not reading this description. It is a difficult book. I don't care about the fucking snobs who are like, it's really not that difficult once you get past the... No, it's the... It is a... fight with boredom at times. That's what it is. Like, I had a lot better go of it the second time around because I can handle boredom better and I can read it and just be like, I'll try to understand what the, I learned about fish stuff.
Right.
But it's like incorrect fish stuff. That's the thing that gets you is like, now when you read it, you're like, I know this is like, for one, a fucking whale's not a fish. So.
Right. But back then.
Well, no, even it says in there, the guy's like, I know, they say a whale is a mammal. Well, fuck that. I'm still saying it's a fish. Okay. Like, why are you being wrong then? You know it. You knew it, Melville, you jerk. Spermaceti scene, though, was beautiful, where he's fucking squeezing the guy's hand, and it's so gay. Everything in that book is very gay. I mean, it opens up where he's sharing a bed he's cuddling with a cannibal. Oh. But it's like, when you read it, you're like, I want to read more. It's so gay. Everything that you think about sailors being gay on the poop deck with the swabbing.
It came from here, probably.
It came from fucking Herman Melville, who said this was a love letter to Nathaniel Hawthorne. Like, he said he really liked Nathaniel Hawthorne, but he couldn't be gay back then, so he just wrote Moby Dick. Even the name is Moby Dick. I wouldn't be surprised if Nathaniel Hawthorne's nickname was Moby. Next one, I also read this, To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf. This one I didn't find difficult personally, but I could definitely see why. It's very short. Also, I like that they're using the Macmillan book covers because I got a lot of these. They're the little, like, very small books.
Okay.
We all know how important the first page of a book is in drawing you in, but To the Lighthouse really makes you work for it, Spencer.
Okay.
Work hard, bitch. Written from the perspective of one's inner voice, you are thrown straight into a blurred mesh of the Ramsey family's thoughts and actions. Without the aid of frequent punctuation or consistent dialogue to carry you through, you'll need to employ fierce levels of concentration to distinguish whose inner monologue you're in and what time of day it is. It's no easy task. If you look away for one moment, you're lost. But we promise that you'll come away having learned a bunch of shit about stupid human fucking relationships. There's one chapter that's written from the perspective of the house, I believe, which I thought was interesting, if I remember correctly. Yeah, the lack of punctuation at times. And see, when I tackle a book like this, I've been going into it, what Ulysses taught me, is just go into it knowing you're not going to understand everything, and you have a better time. So you just read it and be like, I don't care if I don't know whose inner monologue is. Just read it as somebody's. It's not that bad. Next up, I'm going to read this eventually, here in the coming months. Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce. Can I just say Durkin, Shervin, Nodden, Buchenhagen?
I think,
Random words. This novel begins in the middle of a sentence. That's what you're getting yourself into when you open this book. It then ends in the middle of that same sentence, giving a circular structure with the whole load of dreamy, nonsensical language existing in between as a stream of consciousness. Everyone brings that up, and I think they bring that up because most people read the first page and then just skip to the last page. They don't read anything in the middle. So come with the expectation that you won't be making any sense of his famously incomprehensible novel. You could call the fantastic dream language playful, or you could call it baffling. Pick your side. It's stupid. Don't worry, there will be no shame if you admit you cannot understand this book. It's definitely a universal feeling. If anyone says they understand Finnegan's Wake, that person is a Trump-level liar. Like, they do not know anything about the world.
Do you think Dr. Manhattan could understand it?
No.
Wow.
No, he could not. but you'll still be left with the triumphant feeling at the end of it, having read perhaps the most challenging novel of all time. That's what I'm hoping, is I could shut everybody up. Like, what's the most challenging book you ever had? I'm like, let's see, I read Gravity's Rainbow, I read Finnegan's Wake. I'm going to say that it was Pulp by Charles Bukowski. Wow, I think you should read that. Like, give them so they know I read the most challenging works, and then tell them Pulp, because they never read Pulp. And they're like, okay, I got to read that if that's the most challenging to this guy. And then they just like, I'm going to nail your ass.
And then they see it, and it's like only like 200 pages, and they're like,
What behemoth am I getting into?
Especially considering how, like, especially if they get the one that we got where it has no, like, blah or blurb or, any description of the story or anything.
Next up, I have not read. I flirted with reading this, but Mike's son apparently hated this book. And I also, the ending has been spoiled to me. And I feel like the ending's kind of important. But I have not read any of this author yet, and I'm supposed to. It's one of those ones we all have to, but I haven't yet. Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Sitting at 1,136 pages. You can see on the shelf, it's another girthy one. Anna Karenina is a novel of astonishing scope and grandeur, and if you're up for the challenge, Tolstoy grand narrative and complex characters make for an intricate read. Anna, entangled in a consuming affair, battles societal norms in a restrictive Tsarist Russia. When Anna flees her stifling marriage and travels to Italy with dashing Count Vronsky, she finds herself isolated from all except the man she loves and who loves her, and a bunch of stuff happens. As you know, Spencer, I'm not a fan of the aristocracy.
No.
I don't like reading stories about aristocrats unless they're getting killed.
Right.
I just don't find that stuff very interesting, and there was a trend during this time of writing about Russian rich people, because the poor people, Dostoevsky liked to write about the poor people. I like Dostoevsky. Tolstoy liked to write about the rich people, it seems like, and I don't know if I want that. Spoiler alert, she gets trampled to death by a fucking carriage at the end.
Well, that's good.
She throws herself under it. That might be worth the read. But then, 1,200 pages before you get to that.
Right.
I don't know. But there is some of the translators that have done those Dostoevsky books I've read that I really liked. I don't know if it's Oliver Reddy or Matt Katz. One of them, I think, did Anna Karenina. So I might read that one. I'm not reading the fucking... the bullshit. All those books suck, because all those Russian ones over there are Constant Garnett. She was terrible. Terrible and dry.
Well, and to be honest, you basically got all those books over there just for those covers.
Oh, yeah. Those are all boring.
Those are going to be like reading books.
Yeah. Another one I'm not interested in by Leo Tolstoy. War and Peace.
No?
Let me read this for you, and then maybe you could judge. War and Peace. And I just read the whole book. War and Peace War and Peace begins as a glittering society party in St. Petersburg in 1805. Aristocrats. Where conversations are dominated by the prospects of war. Terror swiftly engulfs the country as Napoleon's army marches on Russia, and the lives of 3 young people are changed forever. The stories of quixotic Pierre, cynical Andrei, and impetuous Natasha interweave with the huge cast. From aristocrats and peasants to soldiers and Napoleon himself, War and Peace is challenging on several levels. There is a long list of characters to follow, and I'm sure they all got Russian fucking names, so they have 50 names. Historical and political context is important, so I'm not going to know any of the shit going on, because I don't know that much about Russian history. And
especially really old Russian history.
Yeah. And translations from Russian can sometimes be inexact. A book that big, it's going to be hard to get a good translation, I think. It's apparently one of the most spanning epic war stories ever told, but I think it's just like very detail-oriented about war, which I also... Like, when I read war stories, I don't want the focus to be on, like, strategy and, like, shit like that. I don't care about that stuff. I don't like the technical aspects of it, you know. This is how we get a platoon of 5,000 to march on.
You want to like be in the shit. You want to be like in the dog fight.
I want the human side of the war, not the, strategic side.
The people that are getting sent off, not the people doing the sending.
Yeah. Okay, I like that they split this up. So modern challenging reads.
Okay.
So there's one very clear one, the next one on this list, which is a fucking cover I wish I could get. That's badass. Why is that not a cover I've ever seen?
Say, is it Blood Meridian?
It is Blood Meridian. Look at that cover.
That is a nice cover.
Because as you know, I historically hate Cormac McCarthy book covers, because all the ones you find in the bookstores are garbage. And his original covers often were kind of garbage. I don't know. They just like Cormac McCarthy's like, you can't have good covers.
Well, you just want in the one like hit cover for that one book, just a guy just bunging a melon.
Yeah, that's Suttree. I want a guy bunging a melon. Fuck yeah, I do. But just like the way it's described, like you just see his willy light ass just pale in the moonlight, bunging that melon.
Well, what you'd have like the melon like on the spine, so whenever you open up the book, it's just his legs over the melon.
Or even better, I would like it to be real artistically rendered. So just think of like The Great Gatsby, the fucking green light that what's his face pined for across the bay or whatever. And it's just like, because that represents Daisy and the life you can't have and all that shit. So just that green light, but just replace it with the white pale light. But it's just actually a dude bunging the melon. This is pale ass, the moon on this pale ass. The story of one teen. Okay, we'll tell you. We did a whole episode on Blood Meridian and why we didn't finish it. And I'm gonna reread it, and I'm probably gonna end up really liking it now that I'm not a fucking dollard.
And you've read everything else almost.
Yeah, a good bit. And also now I would understand what I'm getting into. We went into it, it was like, let's have a fun Halloween read.
Yeah.
No, stupid us. But that was also one of our most controversial episodes ever. But Blood Meridian is an anti-Western, and the main thing is no punctuation hardly, and the language is so fucking poetic. But we talk about like the violence being mundane because there's so much violence, and it is a very challenging read. I would recommend everyone check it out after reading his more accessible works, like The Road.
Like I said, my big thing was like with like the punctuation and things because like you don't know it's hard to tell.
No quotations is the one that pisses me off because you don't know who's talking sometimes,
or if it's even supposed to be somebody talking. Is it fucking narrating described? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. This next one, A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara, is it looks like a young Marlon Brando ejaculating on the cover.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not Marlon Brando. The hair looks too fluffed, but looks like think of like a Streetcar Named Desire Marlon Brando. If he had like a weird like John Denver type of hair, just coming.
His weird O face.
Well, let's read what it's about before we judge. If you decide to pick up A Little Life, get ready to be emotionally challenged. Oh, man, I'm already mentally challenged. At the center of the story is Jude, a victim of unresolved trauma of which Hanya Yanagihara... I like that name, Yanagihara. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I think I am. I like saying it, Yanagihara. Say it, Spencer. Yanagihara. It's just way closer. Spares us no mercy in revealing. There's also explicit moments of self-harm, addiction, and abuse. There's some stuff. Strong contender for one of the most addictively depressing books ever. So that's challenging because it's depressing. Yeah, I knew that was going to be on here. Not that book, just something depressing.
Yeah.
That's when you don't get a lot on these challenging lists, is something that is just, it's hard to read because of the themes or, the actual just story. Next up, Underworld by Don DeLillo. If you didn't know much about American history in the eventful second half of the 20th century, you will after reading this. Spanning from the 50s through the 1990s in a nonlinear fashion, Underworld is an 832-page panoramic vision of America. We weave in and out of the number of intertwined themes, including baseball. That would be challenging for me, is reading about baseball. Waste disposal, guns, and the Cold War. Though Murakami wrote that one thing about baseball that I really enjoyed. What was that? It was one of his short stories or memoir stories we read. But it was about some goofy team in Japan.
Yeah.
But the way he wrote about it was like enjoyable.
Yeah. It's like, what's worse than watching baseball? Reading about baseball.
It goes reading about golf, reading about baseball, and reading about bowling. All awful. Now, I stopped reading Into the Looking Glass, the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, because it starts off, this is before I knew how to play chess.
Oh,
it started off with a chess game in detail or something. I'm like, I don't fucking want to read this anymore.
Right. Yeah, you couldn't visualize where the pieces were moving.
Yeah. So this is a hard book because it's long and I guess non-linear story. A Time Outside This Time by Amitabh Kumar. Politics and stuff and global stuff and polarized climates, and just gonna finish this list real quick. XX by Ryan Hughes. That's a cool cover.
Oh yeah.
Battle of Your Mind has already begun. When AI expert Jack Fenwick tries to decode a mysterious signal, he gets some civilizations and complexities and skip. Wikipedia pages. You could call this novel the Moby Dick of sci-fi, but even longer.
Oh.
So if you can even manage to decipher the narrative, you'll enjoy a story of what might happen in the wake of the biggest scientific discovery. So it's just that gets me right there. Moby Dick of sci-fi. Maybe that could be your Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Next up, Doom by Frank Herbert. It's just long.
Yeah.
It's very political, but I enjoyed it. I just don't want to read more because it's long. That's it.
I'm sure the other ones are long too.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to call Pan Macmillan bunk. Also, I thought Pan Macmillan was a person because I'm stupid. So the author of this article was Katie Jarvis. Okay. And the reason why so many of these books have the Macmillan cover is because it's Pan Macmillan.
Oh.
The fucking publisher. Actually, I think I originally read that as Pat Macmillan. That's why I fucked up. Notable, why I call that list bunk. Notable missing contenders for most challenging book would be Ulysses, obviously. They did have Finnegan's Wake. So Ulysses, House of Leaves, and I guess the rest of the list was all right. I don't know if there's anything else I would really include on there. So you like fiction. You like reading books.
Yeah.
And you're already halfway through Piercing by Ryu Murakami.
Yeah.
Are you finding it challenging?
Not really. Because he's very weirdly able to, like, make fucked up things easy to read somehow.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not like he doesn't, like, skip, like, gory details or anything. Like, he does that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It's just, like, that. Well, like, we've talked about how, like, sometimes it just, like certain writers, it's just, like, no matter whatever they write, it's gonna have, like, a feeling and, like, an easy flow to, like, you know what I mean? And I just think he's probably kind of one of those guys, or whoever his editor or his translator is, you know?
Yeah, I didn't look at the translator on this book, so we should probably do that. Because, like, his books should only have, like, the one editions. At least in the bookstores I've seen. So I think he only has the one translators for each book. I mean, I don't know if it's the same translator, multiple translators, but just each book is only. Whereas, like a Murakami, you might get like a Norwegian wood that has multiple changes because they're older.
Right.
Anyway, folks, if you like that episode, good. Tell us you like it and give us money.
Yeah.
Throw money at us like dirty whores. We just throw it right at our butts.
Yeah.
You can check us out at DPW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Spencer's OnlyFans. He's out there in Milwaukee, and he is merchandising meat. He's not merchandising. That means you're like, stocking meats.
Yeah.
You're a meat merchant.
Yeah.
Selling meats.
Yes.
Also, you can check me out, CalebJamesKate.com. I got works out there in the world. Check it out. Buy it. Don't buy it. Whatever you want to do. I don't even care anymore. I'm just alive. That's all. I'm living.
Barely,
but I'm.
If you call this living.
If you call this hellish landscape of no more Americana, I'll tell you that. Americana's gone. It's just sad, depressing wasteland. AI, tariffs, wars, straits, closed straits,
open straits,
then closed again, bombings, guns.
Did we say tariffs?
Tariffs again. Yeah, we said tariffs. Paying for tariffs and then paying companies get their money back for the tariffs that we paid for. Love that. Anyway, upbeat. Check you next week.
Woo!